On May 26, 2021, in Taylorsville, Utah, a witness walking near a residential area noticed a cargo trailer parked just off the street, giving off a strong chemical odor. Curious and concerned, the witness took a closer look. Welcome to the channel. If you're into deep dive true crime breakdowns and unresolved mysteries, tap that subscribe button. We've got more stories coming soon. Now let's take a closer look at the tragic events behind this shocking case. Inside the trailer were several large garbage bags, but these weren't filled with ordinary trash. What they found inside would send shockwaves through the community. Wrapped carefully and hidden from view were human remains. Within hours, the victim was identified as 15-year-old Ivan Viteknik, who had recently been reported missing by his family. Law enforcement launched a full investigation, determined to understand what had happened and who was responsible. Evidence at the scene included a blood-stained glove and a knife. Forensic testing confirmed that Ivan's DNA was present on the knife, and Rowdy Aguilar's DNA was found on both items. But the investigation didn't stop there. Detectives obtained surveillance footage from Aguilar's home, revealing a chilling timeline. The video showed Ivan entering the house with Aguilar earlier that day. Hours later, Aguilar appeared on camera alone, his shirt visibly stained with what appeared to be blood. Then, another clip showed him carrying large trash bags out of the house. Everything pointed to one person: 17-year-old Rowdy Lee Aguilar, a close friend of Ivan's. At first, Aguilar denied having seen Ivan that day. He claimed he had been with his girlfriend. But as the evidence mounted, that story fell apart. Eventually, Aguilar confessed to taking Ivan's life in an extremely violent manner. According to court documents, the attack involved more than 30 sharp force injuries, followed by attempts to conceal what had happened. Ivan's remains were placed in trash bags and left in a cargo trailer not far from Aguilar's home. The level of brutality was so severe, seasoned investigators were left rattled. DNA evidence from the scene helped link Aguilar directly to both the crime and the attempted cover-up. Surveillance footage created a timeline investigators could follow. Scene reconstruction filled in gaps left by Aguilar's refusal to explain why he did it. This wasn't a random act. It wasn't spontaneous. It was something darker, longer in the making, and no one saw it coming. But as strong as the evidence was, it still couldn't explain the most haunting question of all. Why? Why would a teenager harm someone so close to him? Why carry out the act with such cruelty? Why try to hide it instead of asking for help? That's a question we may never fully answer. Ivan Viteknik's family has endured unimaginable pain, and though the guilty plea brought a sense of legal resolution, it did not bring peace. Ivan's older sister, Samantha Van Treese, has spoken publicly about her frustration with the plea. She doesn't believe mental illness should reduce Aguilar's responsibility and wants the full weight of the law imposed. He knew what he was doing, she told reporters. He deserves to be held accountable for what he did. Her statement captures what so many feel, that no explanation, mental illness or otherwise, can undo the loss. On September 26, 2025, Rowdy Lee Aguilar, now in his 20s, stood before a judge and admitted responsibility for the 2021 death of his friend, 15-year-old Ivan Viteknik. But this was no ordinary case. It challenges us to ask tough questions. Can someone this young truly be beyond redemption? How should the justice system respond when the line between childhood and criminal responsibility is so thin? And how can we prevent this from happening again? His guilty plea, specifically to aggravated homicide with a mental condition, did not clear him of blame. Instead, it introduced questions about his psychological state and how it may have influenced the violence. Under Utah law, Aguilar's age and mental health status became crucial factors in sentencing. He now faces a mandatory minimum of 25 years to life behind bars. He will begin his sentence in a youth facility until he turns 25, after which he'll be moved to the adult prison system. His final sentencing is scheduled for December 5, 2025. Aguilar's plea was for aggravated homicide with a mental condition, a legal distinction in Utah that acknowledges mental illness or psychological distress may have played a role in the act, without excusing it. This type of plea is accepted when a defendant's mental health may have influenced their behavior at the time of the offense. It's not a way to avoid prison. It simply allows the court to consider treatment, counseling, or other rehabilitative measures alongside incarceration. Because Aguilar was legally still a minor when it happened, his sentence begins in a youth correctional facility. Once he turns 25, he'll be transferred to the Utah State Correctional Facility. Whether additional psychiatric care will be included as part of his sentence will be determined at the December hearing. This case raises powerful questions about youth, violence, and accountability. Aguilar was 17 when this happened, not quite an adult under the law, but the nature of the act was far from juvenile. It was methodical, extreme, and carried out with chilling precision. Cases like this force courts to weigh two competing truths: that someone so young committed an act with irreversible consequences, and that the teenage brain is still developing, especially in areas related to judgment, self-control, and empathy. When sentencing concludes in December, the court may close the book on this phase of the case, but the emotional aftermath, for Ivan's family, for the community, and for anyone trying to understand what went wrong, will linger far longer. If this story moved you or made you think, please hit the like button and subscribe. We cover difficult stories with respect, care, and depth, and we appreciate your support. What do you think? Should teens with mental health issues be treated differently in court, even when the outcome is this severe? Let us know in the comments.